Because ProCAB QC is designed to be coupled with a measuring system, and this is a PC-only demo, the first message we receive is a reminder that our input communications port has yet to be defined. We'll be getting to that setting in just a bit. Prior to initial use, we need to configure ProCAB QC software. So let's go to the configuration menu, log in with our default password of 1234, and that will bring up a Systems Options tabbed interface. This interface contains all of the different system options that are configurable for this product. Let's take a closer look at the import mapping templates and how they relate to the CSV file for the information that's imported into ProCAB QC software. The first part of the mapping template deals with line items. This is how we tell the software where to find this information on the CSV file. And you'll notice that some of those items are required fields and others are optional. The Bill to Customer information by row and column, and the Ship to Customer information by row and column. This is where we tell the mapping template in what format to expect the measurement data, whether it's in inches or in millimeters. And this is where we define our allowable measuring tolerance. The width has a plus tolerance and a minus tolerance, and the height also has a plus and a minus tolerance, and these can be independently set. Now if we take a look at the CSV file, you can see where the correlation of these items come from. The line item B can be found in column B. The part number ID can be found in column D. And the quantity required width and height parameters can also be found in the CSV file in columns G, I, and J. And mapping a CSV file is really that easy. Here you can see the correlation of the Bill to Customer fields when we put in a row and a column number. So if you look at the Bill to Customer name in column B, row 12, there it is in column B, row 12, and so on for the rest of the information that we import. Creating a custom mapping template for a multi-order file works exactly the same way. Simply map the fields in the CSV file to the fields in the ProCAB QC software mapping template. We'll set our precision of measurement here in inches or millimeters, and then we're going to go ahead and set our default folder location for where our files will be stored, and also for where our batch files will be stored. And batch files are just simply a text file containing several single order files that make it a lot easier to load multiple files at one time instead of having to load each one independently. And then we'll also set in a default path for completed orders. Completed orders are a copy of the information and the measurement results that will be stored on your system after the measurements have taken place. This is also going to be a good time to take a look at the default password. The default is 1234 as the system is supplied. You might want to take a look and consider changing that for future. The next tab is Measurement Options, and we'll come back to that in a minute. The Interface Hardware tab allows us to configure the ProCAB QC software interface to a port on the computer that will receive data from the measuring system. So again, our COM port needs to be defined, and our interface type needs to be defined. And we support two interface types, a Pro RF radio receiver and a hardwired ProMux 3. We also support auto configure, so once the devices are attached, you can simply press auto configure, and the software will go out and pre-configure the systems for you. The next interface tab that we'll look at is the access parameters. When the system is purchased with a ProTable cab, the access parameters will be set at the factory for you, and there's really nothing that you need to do here. But what it does for you is it allows you to set the direction that the measuring system is moving and any preset datum points that need to be added in. Label Configuration tab allows you to set up the label that will be printed on an optional label printer. It allows you to define the port, and it also allows you to position on the label all of the information that you see in front of you with X, Y, and coordinates. It also allows you to configure a barcode configuration and to print a test label. The last tab is where you will enter your company information. So for instance, on this demo, we'll go ahead and enter Accurate Technologies information, and this is the information that will be printed out on the reports and on the packing list that the software will automatically generate for you. You can have the ability to add your logo in if that's something that you would like to see included on those reports. Okay, let's go back to the measurement options screen. This is the tab where you will configure ProCAB QC software to work best for your working environment. We'll take a look at each one of the options and explain its implication as we go through it. The print pack list on order complete. If this option is enabled, the system will generate a print preview screen that contains the packing list for the order that you've just completed measuring. Allow out-of-tolerance parts. If this option is selected, the system will provide the operator with a method of accepting a measured part that is outside of the defined tolerances and allow the operator to associate that part with one of the line items in a current order. Be careful when using this selection. Delete line item from list when quantity reached. When this option is enabled, the line item is automatically removed from the list when the quantity of measured parts reaches the quantity required. In other words, when the operator measures the correct quantity of parts that are required for an order, that line item will be removed from his list. If the option is disabled, the line item will remain on the list, but as its quantity is measured, if it's not fulfilled, it will turn yellow, and when it is fulfilled, it will turn green to show that it has been completed, but it will remain on the list. Allow individual order deletion and allow all orders to be deleted. When these are checked, the user can delete individual or all orders from the list. If they're not enabled, then individual orders cannot be deleted and must be completed in order to be removed from the list. For the purposes of our demo, we're going to go ahead and check the allow all orders to be deleted so that we don't have to go through an entire order before we're allowed to delete it. Allow line item height edit, allow line width edit. If these choices are selected, the user now has the ability to go to an individual line item and using the editor change the required height or the required width of that line item. Once one or more parts have been measured for that line item, that dimension cannot be modified even if the option is enabled. But it is very important to use these with great discretion since it does allow the operator to change the required dimensions of the doors being measured. The same applies to the line item quantity edit. Once the parts have been measured, the quantity cannot be set to lower than the number that was required. However, the operator still has the ability to change the quantity required for an order. Show order complete message. When this box is checked, the system will present a message that pops up to tell the operator that the order has now been completed. We're going to go ahead and check this box so that I can demonstrate how it works when we're using the system to measure parts. Use North American date format. If enabled, the time and the date stamps in all of the system is in the format of month, day, year format. Allow manual measurement entry. When this box is checked, it will allow the user to enter measurements manually via a dialog box. This is useful if the part that is being measured exceeds the capability of your measuring system. Or in the case of today's demo, we have no measuring system hooked up to our computer, and so we will enter all of our measurements manually via the dialog box. Print out-of-spec label if no part match is found. When this is enabled, the system will automatically print a label to be placed on the measured part to indicate that the part is out of tolerance. Test completed line items on new measurements. When this option is unchecked, only the line items in an order previously not measured are tested for a match to the current measurement parameters. When it is checked, all the line items, even those previously measured with their quantity satisfied, are tested for the new parameters. Print part labels after valid measurement. When this option is checked, the system will print a label after every valid part measurement has been completed. Once all of the system options have been selected and measurement options configured, click the green checkbox to save your settings. Each time ProCAB QC software is started, all of these settings will be loaded. This is the operator interface for ProCAB QC software. You'll notice that each of the columns are individually adjustable to accommodate the information that you've imported through your CSV file. In addition to the user's manual, ProCAB QC software has online help available, dealing with such topics as the CSV file formats, additional system configuration choices for the system, for the measurement options, for interface hardware, for access parameters, and other features. There's even information on how to use batch order processing for single order files.